the shit on?
Yes.
All right, y'all. This is Across the Pond. My name is Thomas Wigmar, aka TCCWII. Fit in or fuck off. Today, I have it's Greg J. Williamson coming at you from Scotland and Daniel Dipper from America. Give it up for him.
That was fucking glorious. All right, well, that's exactly
Thanks,
how
boss.
our intros from now on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 4, our 4th installment. This episode will be known as The Rant. We have conjured up this idea of things that we hate, or things that have really been getting on our fucking nerves, and we are deciding to compile them into this lovely little podcast for your ears.
Kid
So-
friendly.
Kids.
Fuck monetization.
So that's going to be our last topic. But our first topic that, something marvelous has happened to Daniel. He has had a birthday and he is now of legal
16.
age to, I mean, I don't know. Now the man's just turned 18, and his issue, which I'm going to let him deal with here, is something that doesn't really happen in the good old United Kingdom of Great Britain, of the Great British Empire, and in good old Canadian land over there. So, Daniel, I'm going to let you take over here and tell me what the fuck's happened after your 18th
All right,
birthday.
so as we all know, in my name, I am a tobacco user. Okay. So, in the whole long run of me using tobacco, I had acquired this disease called heartburn. Well, acid reflux, as you may call it. And, well, I have to get medicine for it. And just so happens that medicine costs a lot of fucking money when you turn 18 because your health care drops you like you're a stack of potatoes and they kick you around in dirt and say, hey, fucker, pay for this.
So you're telling me that you've turned 18 and that your health care no longer covers your medicine because you're a mad tobacco addict in need of desperate medical attention?
Hold on. Do you have health care up until you're 18?
Yeah, so the way it is, it's called Medicaid for me. For me, it was Medicaid.
Oh, Barack Obama. All right.
So it covered me up until I turned 18. And then now I have nothing covering me. So now I have to pay for all my doctor visits, which is upwards to $200 to $400. And
for
then
a
any
visit.
hospital trip, yeah. And then up to a hospital trip can cost me in the thousands. There's no $100 hospital trip. It's all in the thousands.
I've talked to Americans that don't even go to the hospital because of that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, now it's going to get to the point where I can't. And I have to say, I know it might make me sound like a little puss, but when it comes to the bad weather type, and especially since I moved up here in Illinois, I get sick a whole lot faster. And I get strep throat a lot. And now that I'm up here, I've been getting sick a little bit more frequently. And I don't have anything to cover me now. I can't just walk into a doctor's office and say, hey, fix me. Now it's going to be to the point to where I got to sit home and freaking suffer.
Yeah, now we don't have that. Just from like a UK perspective, in particular in Scotland, our healthcare system is called the NHS, which is the National Health Service, which is like kind of split between, obviously UK is different countries. You've got Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Scotland controls its own NHS. And we have like control over our own health services. So we have free prescription medicine, which means if we go to our local general practitioner, GP, doctor, whatever the fuck you want to call it, if we're not feeling well, they'll give us a prescription to get the medicine that we need for free. Things change when you hit 18, like you say, for us, but we don't have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars just to go to the hospital. If my arm breaks, they'll fix that. They'll be like, yo, easy days. But if I need to go get a dentist appointment or like an eye test and I need glasses, I have to pay for that. But most of it comes through taxes. They pay for all my misbehaviors, falling out trees, drop kicking small children. Other than that, pretty much.
Yeah. This is my only concern. So say I get into a car wreck or something. Now, don't get me wrong. I know insurance pays for it if it's not my fault. But just say I hit a deer, and just so happens I break my leg and arm at the same time. Maybe get a. That's going to take time out of work because, like, yes, I work at a parts store, and I work doing mechanic stuff, and I do my own little type construction type deal when I want to. But the thing is, that's all stuff I have to have a leg. I have to have both arms. So my biggest concern is, what if that happens and I have to take an ambulance ride to the hospital? There's nothing that I can do because an ambulance ride in the United States averages from $1,500 to about $3,000.
So see when you had the like obviously the Obama administration implemented, like, was it Obamacare and Obama Aid for people who were unable to afford healthcare? And obviously if you work for like a private business, from what I understand, is that you get your healthcare covered by the business because they have
Yes,
like
That's how it
corporate.
works in Canada.
Yeah.
I
but
shouldn't say
it's oh, go ahead.
Canada has free healthcare, but essentially the population pays for it. Each province has provincial sales taxes, so every time you purchase something, it's a percentage on top of the amount, and it all goes to the federal government.
That's kind of
So
similar to
essentially,
us.
we pay for it, right? And then a part of my company, we have healthcare as well, and it covers things such as dental work and eyes, like Greg said, because that isn't covered. But where Daniel's going with the whole conversation is if you get in an accident or you break your arm or anything like that, that is never a concern for Canadians because we are 100% covered when it comes to that stuff.
And you guys are also invincible and your bones don't break because you're Canadian.
But somehow they don't have diabetes. I don't
Ah, bro, you
understand.
don't even want to talk about obesity. Is we obviously I'm from an incredibly fat country. You're from the fattest country in the world, but like our obesity levels, like we give out insulin, like that shit's hotcakes. Okay, it's so common because obviously some of it's inherited through like type 1 diabetes, but like we have a lot of fat ass kids, and I'm just saying that because obviously
Obesity is global these days, though, and it's all for ease of accessibility, ease of fucking time. It's just what's the easiest way to feed a guy and keep
very
going
true.
about your day to be efficient. It's fast food, and that has taken over the global market and made people billionaires, and it's going to continue to thrive because we try to be as efficient as we can these days, and the only way to do that is to dine and dash, baby.
So we're cutting corners in a way.
I
We
don't
are.
understand it. That's another big thing. Like, everybody talks about obesity. Everybody talks about how everybody needs to get a little bit more in shape.
Hmm.
But then at the same time, you can walk over to your local McDonald's, buy a cheeseburger for $1, but then you try to go to this salad place and a little old bowl of salad that's no bigger than a cereal bowl costs you $8 fucking. It
It's
don't make
such a
sense.
genius model, though.
As it
It
works,
is
it's capitalism at
so
its
genius. It works.
finest.
What are the most successful people today? Fitness moguls. It's just, okay, we have a problem because fast food is so cheap. Let's make these fat people skinny. There's such a large audience that are going to follow this and feed into their bullshit. It is brilliant. So smart.
Well, there you go. So,
Mhm.
in summary, basically, we get taxed here in Britain and in Canada. That pays for our healthcare, and like you said, you get it through like it's the same everywhere as well. Like private companies will pay for your healthcare also. So
Yeah,
like,
but it's kind of different on the same level here, as far as I know. From, like, I mean, you got to think, I just got out of high school too. I'm just now starting to learn a little bit more than I already have learned about life and taxes and all that. But see, at the same time, I kind of pay attention to the news. I like how watching all that stuff and all the talking about it. But what I see here from everything I've seen, there's not really a high demand for full time jobs. And the only way to get fully covered is a full time job. But
so we don't
then,
do that through
Fantastic.
so
education though.
construction, the what?
So like, obviously, academic jobs. So, for example, if you become a doctor or a lawyer or work for the government, they're going to pay for your healthcare because you are
Yes.
from an academic background. You've been to college, you've been to university, you finished your high school, got a diploma, all that shit.
Right. But I'm talking about the whole side. So, say, me in particular, no, I don't have a scholarship for college, which means it's a very high possibility I will not attend college. The only thing I'll have on my record is a high school diploma with a good GPA. That's it. So my problem is, there's not going to be a high demand for a full time job unless I get a job where I break my back every day and bust ass, and in return only make what, maybe $15 to $17 an hour. And then in return, that's not more than about $27,000 a year. And then really the average the only way to really live comfortably in America, because you still have your bills up until you retire or you're put on disability. So it's the whole thing, that whole concept, until you're about 65 years old in America, you're going to struggle because your finances. every day, every year, it seems like taxes are lifted because everybody's fighting for minimum wage. Now, what I see here in America, everybody's fighting for the minimum wage, but as they're fighting for it, they're really hurting themselves because the tax bracket just moves up with it.
The more you make, the more they take.
Exactly, and so
But
it's always a hard game to play because you're always struggling with your money, which brings the healthcare back in. If you can't make enough money to comfortably live off of, say I'm perfect and I never get sick, I never break a bone, I never am in pain, and I still only make $40,000 a year, I'm still going to struggle because I have your water, your electrical, you have your car payment, you have your car insurance, you have your home insurance. And then if I really wanted to spend the money, I can buy health insurance. But at the same time, I'm still paying just about the same amount, minus a couple $100. Because every time you have to go to that hospital, they're probably going to raise that rate up just a little bit, and it's not noticeable until years down the road. Then you actually notice how much. So it could be, say, 10 cents, but then you take that whole 10 cents and add it for 10 years. And say you go to the doctor's office 5 times all right, so the average person goes to the doctor about twice a month, and there's 2 years, so 24 times a year, just doctor's office. I mean, that's just it builds up just like every day you walk into a Dollar General, you buy a piece of gum, it's $1. That dollar builds up so quick. It's just a big struggle.
So what you're telling me is your country. Like I'm pretty sure I've seen statistics on the news and in the past throughout school. No matter what you're doing, really, it's a standout figure that I'm going to say. I can't remember how much it was. There's got to be over 50% of the population in the United States, well into the 70s, 80s, 90s, who will not have healthcare because they cannot afford it. And that's how they get you when you think about it. Your country is built on this capitalist idea that you can't obtain it unless you are some sort of Steve Jobs academic genius. Whereas, you come to Scotland, you come to Canada, and in the UK, we're about to have a general election in December, right? And some of the political parties, aka the Labour Party, which is like left wing, they want to increase taxes on the rich people to pay, because obviously they invest in oil and whatever big organizations they do, and they're going to tax oil companies as well. And all this money will come back to our healthcare system. Now, we already have one of the best healthcare systems in the world, and it'll benefit us, especially people like me who are like working, trying to get into the middle class, etc., etc.
that's why I said the more you make, the more you take. That's what Canada does. You are based off of your career, and then you're fitted into a specific tax bracket where you pay into it. If you exceed your tax bracket by a whole bunch or even a little bit, you'll get a tax return when you go at the end or at the beginning of the year to do your taxes for the previous year. But you're all placed into a specific bracket where you pay into it. That's why I say it's not essentially free health care. We all pay into it, but it doesn't matter what you make. Whatever treatment you need, it will always be available to you no matter
That's the
what.
beauty of it. That's the best part.
Yeah.
But that kind of covers the healthcare topic. We've fucking nailed that shit on the head. Obviously, every country has its own issues with that, but we kind of get a perspective that's kind of different, considering you guys literally border each other, and the difference is ridiculous. But other than that, now before we started this recording today, a very angry Daniel messaged in the chat something about Walmart. And obviously, here in the UK, we don't have Walmart. There's a shared company. We have it called Asda. It sounds ridiculous.
Hold on. You don't have Walmart.
No, we have kind of like it's twin brother who's slightly like fuck ugly, but we still kind
Moving
of
to
he's still
Scotland.
there. Yeah, yeah.
You're not missing much.
He's like the adopted one. But yeah, we have an Asda. It's like a sub company of Walmart. Same like franchise, just UK based. But yeah, Daniel, take it away on your Walmart rant.
Okay, so TC, I presume you know what a futon is?
Like, yeah,
So what is a
yes.
for those who don't, for people who are normal and live in the European Union and or in Europe or the UK or have more than 3 brain cells, please explain to me what that is.
All right, so a futon is basically a couch, okay, Let's just start off with it. It's a couch. But then you can fold it backwards and it's a twin size bed. Okay.
So a
now
sofa bed.
Yeah, pretty much. but it's called a futon. So let me explain this to you or ask you this. Would you buy a car without tires on it?
I mean,
If
depends how far I want to
you're
get.
asking me, I probably would, but where are you going with this?
Okay. So the first one I bought, so it was at Walmart. I got it home. Now, remind you, I paid about $200 for this thing. I got it home, started to put it together, and holy fuck, guess what? The legs were gone. No legs. Okay.
I mean, who needs them? All right.
But what do you expect when you deal with Walmart?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
that should
But at the
that
same
should
time,
be
you got
That's why you
given.
go to IKEA to get that high quality Swedish
as soon as I
wooden.
sit on it, I'm gonna slam into the ground.
You probably will because it's got no legs. It's like sitting on a fucking amputee. You're just gonna sit and it's gonna slam into the ground. I probably should have said that, but it's already out
I
you
there.
don't know.
saying-
It's just
Side note: is IKEA high quality in Scotland?
Oh man. Oh, that's where the high class. If you're not, living in London where you go and shop at like the high, like IKEA is like high quality shit, middle class shit, right?
It's weird how it's so different across the pond
Oh
because,
man,
like,
nah.
IKEA is everywhere here, man. It is the cheapest shit you can buy. Like, if you are going to college or if you have a new house and a shitty job and you need to furnish that thing, you go to IKEA.
I don't know. We must be on some different, different wavelengths here because IKEA here, that is hella expensive. I'm talking like, you have to sell your kidney. If you're like me, who's working but poor as fuck and is a student, I mean, I've only accumulated a debt paying for a car. If I want to buy a bedside lamp, I will have to cut all my fingers off. Okay, it's just fact. They'll just do that. The
you can get
Swedes,
a
Swedes are good at
computer
that.
desk for $20.
$20.
From where?
$20.
Oh, I got it from Walmart, but it's still the same.
Ah,
It's still
shit.
same concept.
I bought
Same
a
concept.
coffee table from IKEA not too long ago, and I ended up buying two because the quality's so shitty and it was so cheap that I'm like, when this one looks rough, I'll just put this one together. And this is like IKEA, like the big blue building with the yellow IKEA on the side of it. It's just it's Swiss, isn't it? Isn't it founded in
Are
Switzerland?
you mad? Are you high? Are you okay? No.
Yeah.
God no. Blue, what country? Right, let me wait. Hold on. Quick pop quiz. Okay, this is your geography teacher here. What country in Europe is Scandinavian, has blue and yellow cross as its flag?
Not
What
a
the
fucking
fuck is a
clue.
Scandinavian?
Oh my God, you've just triggered. Like, see if there's any Scandinavians who watch this, aka Sebastian, right? We know Sebastian.
Oh, so
Okay.
like, wait, he's from Switzerland, ain't he?
No, oh my fucking God. Oh my God, I'm about to put my head through a window. Okay, so Scandinavia, for those who are from across the pond who don't understand the concept of the spherical planet that is Earth. Okay, we have
Shit's flat and hollow, bud.
4 or 5, fuck you,
Okay,
4 or
I
5
fucked up.
countries.
Switzerland was Sweden.
Sweden, thank you. So you've got Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and Iceland, and technically Greenland, even though it's part of Denmark. They're all Scandinavian countries. Okay. Sweden is the founder of IKEA and also Volvo and Koenigsegg and Skoda. They are like
Skoda?
Skoda, yeah, they make cars and shit. But yeah, and Saab, but they're no longer existent. So yeah, IKEA, Swedish. They make lamps and tables. And they'll cut your liver out.
For a very, very reasonable price
And
in
meatballs.
Canada.
So make sure you get your shit from Canada, get it imported, pay for that shipping.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
It's definitely not worth it. So you bought a sofa bed with no legs.
Futon. And so I took it back to Walmart.
Okay, wait, what? No, stop. Okay,
Did you
no, I'm
take the
confused.
entire thing back?
You put it,
Yeah.
you deassembled it, put it back in the box, and took it back.
I mean, what did I have to deassemble? There wasn't nothing to deassemble.
There was just
I
That's
just
a lot
had
of
to fold up.
manpower.
I had
Yeah.
to
What a man.
What fueled you to do this?
Red Bull.
McDonald's?
Door. What?
Sponsored by Red Bull.
Oh
on.
man! But I took it. So here's how it's assembled. I'll give you the breakdown. It's a whole mattress that folds on a frame, and all I had to do was unpin this, unpin that, fold it over, slam it in the box, and then angrily drive to Walmart, shove it in their face, and tell them to do a will call for another one. I'm just fucking with you. I didn't get mad at them. But at the same time, I was pretty pissed off because there was no legs in the box. I mean, who
I don't think that's what people would be concerned about, that you got angry because you bought something that was supposed to have fucking legs. Okay? That's like going to the pet shop, okay, and leaving your dog with the vet and then coming back and your dog's got no legs, okay? It just doesn't work, okay? So
But at least you learn. Next time you buy a futon, you'll be in the store and you'll be like, does it come with legs?
Oh, I did. So this goes on into the next one. So as I went up to the woman, I asked her if she could do it nicely. I asked her if she would do a will call for another store to get me another futon just like the one I bought. As she proceeded to be very fucking cocky and tell me she's not going to do it and that we're going to have to see before I can get my refund.
That's the worst thing about Walmart.
You just cracked out a sofa bed in the middle of fucking Walmart.
So I just tilted that motherfucker out of the buggy and took it out of the box. No legs. So she gave me my $200 back. She wouldn't call the other Walmart. So I proceeded to go to the other Walmart, and I seen a futon that was a little bit cheaper. It looked a lot nicer. And we took it out of the box and pretty much just checked it from there. And it's just a simple fact that Walmart's assholes and don't put the right shit on their shit.
That's the worst thing about Walmart is shit like that happens and you go back because you're legitimately pissed, and then you always got to deal with like fucking Karen, just a 12 sandwich a day eating bitch who thinks she is so much better than you.
Supermom, 8 kids, divorced 3 times.
Oh, with Karen. A gun tucked into her fucking sweatpants. It's just like, come on, bitch. Just give me what's right here.
Oh my god!
I mean, that's just something I don't get. Is like anytime you take anything back to Walmart, they are pissed off at you.
Always.
But put them in your situation. They buy the futon. They spend $200 on a twin size, hard as a rock bed, and they get pissed at you because you come back because it ain't got fucking legs. You got to have the legs so it'll sit on your floor and work the way it's supposed to work. It's just, I don't know. I probably should have thought about this a little bit more and rephrased everything before I just.
No, this is glorious. This is raw passion about how angry you get when you open up. You know, it's like Christmas morning, and you open up your futon that your mom got you for Christmas, $200, and it's not actually a futon. It's, you know, you've got a garden chair, like a deck chair. You paid $200 for a deck chair. It's not what you asked for. Okay, it's too right. You could be pissed off. Okay, imagine your deck chair didn't even have legs. Right? Imagine your mum didn't have legs. Walmart took her legs.
Okay. I name her Bob. So much passion towards the futon. I love it.
I know,
you gotta have a good futon. A futon with no legs would blow.
That's an education. I didn't know what that was until now.
And a futon for $200 at that. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, just imagine them coming to you. I mean, that's how. All right, so I'm going to be honest. I worked at Walmart for a brief 7 months.
Are you ashamed?
Yes, very much.
That's a job. A job's a job, man.
But anytime somebody returns something at my register, I didn't get pissed off at them because I know how shitty that is. I mean, they spend from, I don't care if it costs you $10 to $4,000. If it don't come with the shit, you have a right to be pissed off. I mean, you paid for everything in that box.
Straight up robbery.
So, is like, can you get one of those at Best Buy if that's a thing in Illinois or whatever?
I don't think you can get one at Best Buy, but holy shit, Best Buy's got the best deals on TV right now.
Black Friday's coming up, but yeah, we're not gonna sponsor fucking Best Buy on our podcast. They can pay us for that. But on our next topic, okay?
And we're really and we're not giving Walmart a shout out.
No,
we're giving them a shout out to fuck off.
The crazy thing about Walmart in Canada is so diverse that I feel like I need my fucking passport every time I go in there. I hate it.
It's like crossing the border.
It is. Okay. You drive down the street. I live probably 10 blocks from Walmart. And you walk through those pearly white gates, and it is a different world. And I swear to fuck, it feels like you're in there for an eternity.
Did you die
by
on
the
your
end
way
of
there?
it?
Did you just like walk up to fucking heaven?
Oh, you want to kill yourself. And then when you come out, it is just a snapback to reality every time. And it's to the point where I don't even go there anymore. I mean, the prices are great. Ours has a lot of great cheap food, but that's wifey's jam.
Is that
She
where you got
goes,
the bug in your salad?
oh no, actually, that
yo,
wasn't.
I saw
That
that.
wasn't. That happened yesterday.
That's fucked.
That
Must
was
have added
pretty
a lot of
gross.
flavor
Yeah.
though. Delicious.
That was pretty gnarly. That's a whole different story.
You'll love to hear it. All right, next
So
topic.
next was prices. Is that what it
Yeah.
was? All right. So this is one of the big questions I want to ask TC. TC.
Mm-hmm.
So as I've noted, I do tobacco. How much is a can of smokeless tobacco in Canada?
The average price for one tin is about $30 to $35.
And one tin is roughly what, about 10 ounces, maybe?
Look, you probably have one right in your hands right now.
I do. It's 1.2 ounces.
There you go.
And here in America, well, in South Carolina, I can get a tin of Grizzly, and it cost me $2.86. In
Yeah,
Illinois, it costs $4.27.
just from what the boys have said, it's almost cheaper to buy a full log. That's what you call like a full. How would you explain a log, Daniel?
Well, I
Shit
call
in
it
the
a
toilet,
sleeve.
that's a
So it's
log.
just basically 5 tins.
Yeah.
5 tins of dip.
So it's cheaper to buy a sleeve in America than it is to buy a single tin in Canada.
So for people who are unaware of living in the Wild West, what is it? Is it chewing tobacco? Is it like what do you do with this tin
Smokeless tobacco?
Yeah, smoke. Is
All
it
right,
just you just put it in
so
your mouth and just fucking pretend you're a cowboy or what?
all right, so first off, this is what you do. So you grab your tin, you put your middle finger and your thumb around it, and then you relax your index finger and you go a little, and
That
then you
doesn't sound
just.
like you're putting your finger in a tin. It sounds like you're molesting yourself.
But no, all right, so basically what you do is really fine cut tobacco, and I mean
Right.
you can get leaf tobacco, which is still the full leaves that are just cut down the middle, basically.
Okay.
But what I do is the fine cut. It's called long cut, and
Okay.
basically you just get a pinch of it. It's moist tobacco. You just throw it in your mouth,
Moist.
and you just spit tar, and it tastes
Oh
amazing.
God.
And you get the
Fucking
full
tar.
amount of nicotine in your bloodstream because it's directly in your mouth.
Yo, that's
Yeah, it's not that bad. I
issues.
could never get into it. I don't chew, but it's not that
That's
bad.
like
It is fucking expensive though.
we use tar to put on the fucking roads, and you put that in your mouth.
I'm
It
sure
ain't really tar. It's just
you
black spit.
you have chewing tobacco in Scotland. You
No, no,
have
no, no,
to.
no, 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 no. We don't do that here.
Well, are you sure?
Oh yeah, it's very, very rare to ever. I've not actually seen one person chew tobacco. All we have here,
Just
right?
go to your local little cricket and see what they got.
Yeah,
No,
it's
no,
got
no.
to be there.
All we have is you can buy tobacco to smoke. We don't have it as like smoke unless you want to just fucking chew on like actual cigarette
Is
stuff.
smoking common
Yeah, like
in Scotland?
that. But we have a massive cigarette franchise over here, but that's beginning to collapse because of like e-cigarettes and people stopping to smoke because it's cancerous. But
Is it
yeah,
expensive?
it's expensive. Like there's right, for example, okay, so I was on holiday in Portugal, okay, and all these like
Great
there was
place.
these little white chicks, okay, it must have been about 20 years old. There's 3 or 4 of them, and they sounded like they've been smoking their entire lives since they came out the womb with a giant fucking cigarette in their mouth.
Came out talking like this right here.
Yeah, right. And you can go to Turkey and you can buy like I'm talking like bricks. So you know how you get like the sealed packages? There's like maybe like 40 cartons, maybe 50 cartons in this one packet. Okay. For like
Yeah.
maybe like 100 euros, which is about £80, which is probably about $120. Okay.
That's pretty cheap though.
You can come over
Holy
here
fuck.
and you'd have to pay like £200, which is like $250 for like a brick, maybe $300 for a brick of tobacco, like cigarettes.
Yeah,
So
it's about the same here. I think.
it's expensive to like
I've never bought
continuously do
one,
that.
but
So like for a packet of cigarettes at your local supermarket or convenience store, right? Which it'll cost you for like a decent brand because I don't smoke, I don't fucking know, but like maybe 15 quid, £15, 15 schmackaroonies, which
yeah, it's
is
about the same here. I bought a
Hey,
pack like 2 hours ago, it was
TC,
$14.
you
So
smoke? What?
occasionally, it comes with work. You kind of got it just to keep the day going. Working in the oil industry, it is a huge habit that you see here, and it's almost just an excuse to go for a break.
Fair
So
enough.
those who
So,
don't smoke don't really
Speaking of
go
the
for
oil
breaks.
industry,
oh no,
What about
no,
it?
no, 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 no.
how much is all right? So I'm assuming over there in Scotland, you don't have your normal E87 or 93 gas.
I don't know. We don't
You
know that. We
you
don't call
use
it
like
that.
petroleum and diesel, don't you?
We just call it petrol and diesel. Yeah.
All right. So how much is a tank? So say, how much is it a gallon over there?
In
We don't.
Canada?
We don't. No, in good old Scotland,
Oh yeah.
basically, right? We don't do it by like. Well, you kind of do, but I don't know. We don't use that metric system. But I'll use my car for example. Okay, I have a Peugeot 208 1.4 diesel engine. Okay, I put £30 in yesterday because I had to travel to Stirling today. So I had about like the last bar, so I filled it all the way up to about 3/4 of the way full, and that was £30 for like 3/4 of a tank of diesel. If I was to fill it up to like £40, £45, that would last me like 2.5 weeks.
Do you go by liters?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
so
maybe
do
like
we.
22, 23 liters of diesel. I think. I know that sounds like a lot, but I think that's how much.
I know
How
Daniel
much is
drives
a
a truck.
liter for you?
Yeah, he's the one
Uh,
reason that there's global warming because he drives like a fucking V55 diesel truck that every time you turn it on, some child in Africa or some child in India dies of smog inhalation.
global warming is such a hoax, but over here it's like $1.20 a liter. It's usually about $120 to fill my truck.
Really? I know. All
100.
right.
I don't
So
know how much
here in
that is.
Illinois, gas is like 302, I think it is. But in South Carolina, it's currently $1.99.
That's really really cheap.
Yeah. So like here in Illinois, it costs me about $70 to fill my Silverado up. But in
Yeah,
South Carolina, it costs me about $40.
it's always more expensive here, which is really weird if you want to get into politics and stuff. Being the place that this is like one of the main areas in the world where we produce oil and gas, but it's so expensive here to actually purchase it. And as soon as you go to the States, I feel like the States is always cheaper. As soon as you cross the border, like I went to Great Falls, Montana not too long ago, and when I left home, it was $1.20 something a liter. And when I went to Great Falls, my truck handle, when I was clicking the fucking gas thing, shut off at $40. And I did the equation, and it was like 64 cents a liter. It's
So
a
hold on,
huge
hold on.
difference.
Oh,
What
wow.
is the difference between Canadian dollars and American dollars? What's the exchange rate there? Just so we can get an idea of context.
Ain't it
Because
about like 30 cents? 30
Yeah, it's
cents
about
difference?
33 cents. I can
so for
actually
one
Google it
US
right
dollar
now.
is like $1.33 in Canadian money.
Yeah.
So for UK for the pound, it's probably about a dollar. But hold on, yeah, I'd probably say about $1.15, $1.20. So maybe about $1.55,
Yeah,
$1.60
your
for
guys are
Canadian.
really high compared. Yeah, it's
Oh, ours
133
is
right
going
now.
down though. We're about to have a recession or a financial crash because of Brexit. Don't even worry about. We'll get that in a different video. But
I'll tell you what, I wish the economy would crash in America for like a full 4 weeks.
Yeah.
nobody's ever said that in their life. I just wish the whole entire fucking American infrastructure would just collapse for 4 weeks.
So today the euro is $1.47 Canadian.
How much is it American?
$1.33.
Yeah, I guess so.
Uh, it's quite a
Yeah.
lot.
Hmm.
All right. Well, you know, price, food, and probably food and things is quite similar. Cigarettes seems kind of similar. Alcohol, uh, we
Yeah, it's a
have.
whole lot fucking cheaper here.
Oh yeah, we have
Yeah.
something called we put a tax on drinking, okay? Because we have an alcohol epidemic, we could say. It is so common. Like we in the UK, everyone's heard of pubs, right? Irish pubs,
Hmm.
English pubs,
Yeah.
Scottish pubs. Pubs make your night out on a Saturday, okay? However, drinking in the house, drinking on the street, they've put a lot of like a high increase on how much it costs to buy drink. So people in Scotland, because it's only in Scotland, okay, people will drive down south to England or to even go to France, okay, and bring crate loads of beer from France all the way up. This is about a 400-mile car journey. Okay, this will take about
Isn't that
12 hours.
considered bootlegging?
That is bootlegging. Okay, but it happens because it's so expensive to buy drink, and I don't drink.
That's no different than here, though. That's what Canadians do with America. It
Just
is so
make
expensive
moonshine.
to drink in Canada, and it's so cheap in America. People go down just to get liquor
Yeah,
and tobacco.
Just
it's
freaking
unreal.
make moonshine. You can put it in your gas tank and you can drink it.
That's right.
That sounds very safe for your stomach. I recommend kids drink moonshine.
Have you
Right.
never had it?
No, and I don't plan on losing my vision.
Come on down to American. I'll give you a good mason jar full.
Love going across the pond for that shit. Right, okay, hold on. We've got to cover the next topic, okay?
Hey, how much is weed over there?
Well, that's something that is sprouted up on the news recently in America because obviously you're not like 100 miles away from passing legislation in Congress that will allow the nationalization of weed is no longer illegal to possess it, to grow it, to sell it. Whereas here in the UK, it is still a felony. We don't call it that here, but it's a felony to be in possession or to be selling marijuana.
You know the big rumor behind it and why it's illegal?
I mean, I
It's
saw.
bas-
Oh, go ahead, man. You explain.
It's basically the same as like moonshine, from what I hear. Because you can't tax it. The government can't tax it.
That's
Just like
exactly
you can't.
why.
Oh yeah,
Just
exactly. That's
because
very
like you
true.
can't sell freshwater fish or deer, venison. You can't sell venison meat because it's non-taxable.
It is no different than selling illegal cigarettes. You're evading taxes, and that's a big deal. It's a felony. So in Canada, marijuana is fully legal. You can grow it. You can do whatever you want
I feel like it just
with marijuana.
reduce
But we're like mirror countries. We're pretty much the exact same.
yeah.
The moment you sell it, though, you're just tax evasion. You're going against the government, and you're in trouble.
Yeah, we're beginning to, it's a waste of police time. And many you go around like youth culture in the UK, weed has become very normalized. Okay, it's you become desensitized. People will pass you in the street smoking it. You'll see
It's
it anywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Everywhere here.
And there's nothing you can really do about it. It's more concerning when you've got people doing cocaine and heroin in the street, which doesn't happen it happens behind closed doors, and it's incredibly dangerous.
Canada's cool with it. We have safe injection sites,
which we're planning on doing here in the UK, particularly in Scotland, where we give out free needles and shit because we don't want people overdosing and dying on dirty needles. But weed is becoming less of an issue, and people are going to jail for it. And tax evasion, but if the government was able to, they used to do this back in the 1920s where they used to grow hemp for paper and for clothing. You can turn it into, it's already a multi-billion-dollar business. So why not control it? And which I think the American government should focus on. Same with the UK, it's such a massive industry. You can sell it medically, you can sell it for recreational, you can sell it for paper, you can cut down on climate change. As long as you make it restricted enough so only certain ages can get it, and you have a lot of medical checks on it, I think there shouldn't be any issues with it. In my personal opinion.
Yeah, but this will
It's
understand. So this is gonna bring out moonshine. So this will understand. You can go to jail for just producing it, but at the same time, I can kind of understand why they don't want it to be able to be produced and everything because it's full alcohol, basically. I mean,
Yeah, that's enough to fucking shut your livers down. We don't do that. We use that to clean paintbrushes.
yeah, but you gotta think there's so many people like you. All right, so I'm not going to disclose any names because the FBI is always watching. There are just about a lot of people in South Carolina that I do know. I'm not saying I affiliate with them or anything in any kind of way, but I do know. They live off of fucking moonshine. I mean, and you got to think it's so easy to make too. I mean, anybody of any age that's got any common sense can make it.
We're not going to describe how to make it because that makes us, like a tutorial. Hey, here's how you make an
Tune in
illegal
the
drink.
next week to learn how to make moonshine.
Yeah, just tune in. And I think most people in the UK, well, it'd be very uncommon unless you literally go over to the United States just to try it. But
Dude, it's so
nobody
good.
drinks
You get like
moonshine
some
here.
apple pie moonshine. It's so fucking amazing.
But it's easy to make. It's potent. It does what it needs to do, so people make it.
Literally, it destroys your kidneys, but that's okay.
There's a lot of bads to it, and that's probably why it's against the law. But people
Illegal as
make it for
shit.
a reason, and whatever. To each their own.
It's cheap
Yeah,
to
right.
make
Dabble,
too.
do you? Go to Walmart, get some nail
So,
polish.
in your opinion, right? We'll do a little vote here. Okay, so start with TC. Obviously, weed is like normalized in Canada. Do you think it should be completely legalized internationally?
Internationally, 100%. There's, yeah, this conversation could go on forever. Marijuana, I don't, and this is coming from somebody who doesn't personally smoke marijuana. There's nothing wrong with it. And it was so over sensitized that people kind of lost touch with reality on what marijuana was about. And there's a lot of people in jail today because of it. And it's just, in my opinion, it's bullshit. Yeah, I think it should be fully legalized. And Canada has done it. And I've seen the benefits that it has created for our country, seeing how many jobs it's created nationally. And I'm all for it.
All right. Okay. So, from an American perspective, do you believe that weed, cannabis, marijuana should be legalized on an international scale?
Okay. So this is coming from somebody that doesn't smoke weed but would like to try a pot brownie. Uh, so this is what I believe on it. Weed makes me sick through the smell, but
Say,
I believe it should be legalized internationally, but with the consequence that there should be like places to smoke it. Like you can't
that's
just walk
fair.
into a smoking area
I get that.
and light up a blunt because you're in the middle of public. I mean, there could be more people like me that just like as soon as I get the smell of marijuana, I throw up. It's
That's how
just
it works in
automatic
Canada, though.
sickening.
Like we have dispensaries, and it's secluded, just like a liquor store. Like you can't see in them or anything like that. There's a sign, there's a window with a couple advertisements. That's it. You know what it is, but you can't see it. You go in the dispensary and you buy it. And in most places, for example, where I live, there's bylaws. It's not set in stone. It's a law within your community saying where you can do it. So where I live specifically, if I was to walk outside and walk down the street right now smoking a joint, I can get a ticket. It's just like open liquor. If I go walking down the sidewalk right now drinking a beer, I'm going to get a ticket. If
That's
there's a
that's good.
cafe, they'll acquire a license saying, hey, this is a pot cafe. You can come in here and do whatever and smoke a joint if you
Just
want
like
to
Amsterdam.
within the building. You can't just go outside anywhere you want and smoke it.
Ah,
It's no
fair.
different than drinking those. So if you handle it appropriately
I get that.
and get a hold of your people and keep them in line so you don't piss off people like you, such as the ones that get sick when they smell it, then it's fine.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just think there should be some restrictions on it.
I can
That's
see
what I
that. I
think.
can see the benefits of both sides of your argument. 100%. Like obviously, you can just go past the school smoking a big fat fucking doobie, and then get all the little school kids high. I see it as something that you can tax, you can make serious cash from. I can see like, what TC said. You can get some serious, job infrastructure from it. You can build businesses, franchises. It makes it less appealing for criminals as well. Because obviously, drug dealing, selling dope, slinging it, smoking it, people think it's cool to sell it. If it becomes normalized, no one's going to do that shit. And plus, it stops wasting police time. It opens up
This
prison
is
cells
what
for
I
actual
see.
criminals.
This is the only thing I'm going to see that comes wrong with it with people that's not in like the government. So you're going to have Mr. Johnny over here that sells marijuana legally. He can sell it legally, but you got the government over here. Hold on. Let me restart that. You got Mr. Johnny over here that's fighting to get legal marijuana all the low, and then it's legalized. But you can only buy it in dispensaries. Then the government's going to go haywire on taxes just to
Yeah,
make that
okay.
extra penny.
I'm going to interrupt you right there because this is actually a huge issue because that is exactly what happens. The government goes haywire, implements all these taxes on it, and it makes it very expensive. So, black market marijuana is a huge thing in Canada still because it is so expensive that these drug dealers are like, hey, this is an awesome opportunity to keep selling weed because we're going to sell it for so much cheaper than what the
Exactly.
government's selling for. And people are going to still come to us. But in the back of their mind, they know that they just have to do this in a smarter way because if you get caught, it's automatic jail time. Whereas before, when it was illegal, you would get a slap on the wrist.
Yep.
So
That's going to be the only
there's
problem because nobody's going to want to follow the dispensary rules. Nobody's going to want to follow the laws to get marijuana. Either they're going to completely not worry about it as soon as it's legalized,
mm,
or it's going to go straight to being so illegal
Yeah.
that it's just going to keep canceling each other out.
So
A
do you
lot of
think?
people thought legalizing weed would get rid of the problem with drug dealing and stuff. And it
Mhm.
really didn't happen. What it did happen in a way. It got rid of people with the cojones not big enough to keep drug dealing because they know they're not smart enough to do it and they're probably going to end up in prison. But at the same time, there's people out there still selling even more weed and making even more money because they know there's the market for it.
Oh yeah.
So in summary, on that topic in particular, it has its benefits. It has its pros and cons. Okay, so that we know that it can do a lot of good if people stick to the rules, and if it doesn't,
Definitely.
it creates this issue where the black market is still prevalent in society, where people know they can get cheaper shit
But it's
and
the simple
avoid
fact that the
tax.
government knows what's going to, but they're going to tax it anyway. So either
Yeah,
way, it's just the pros and cons are going to always. It's going to be an infinity amount of pros and cons are going to keep canceling each other out no matter what
yeah, it's like
because
everything,
tax.
really. It is
It
like
doesn't
everything.
matter what it is. It's the same thing for everything. Like I smoke a lot of cigarettes. I'm probably gonna go buy cheap Indian cigarettes. I know people that do that. I drink a
Fair
lot.
enough.
I'm probably gonna go make moonshine.
Merry Christmas. I mean,
All
that's
right.
Yes,
proved the
sir.
point several times. I mean, there's loopholes around everything, but they're not legal. And if
Hmm.
everything was legal, it'd be so fucking expensive that people'd still be doing illegal shit.
If the world was perfect, everyone would pay their taxes. Doesn't
Yeah,
work that
Yeah.
way.
that doesn't work like that. All right. So, last up before we close out this lovely episode, um, is something that we really quickly came up with, and it's been trending on Twitter, and it's been affecting the YouTube community, and will most likely affect most streaming and recording platforms. Is that they've changed their monetization laws and their family-friendly laws. So, just to give some summary, okay, YouTube is quite strict now in comparison to what it used to be a few years ago on what you could say, swear words, or showing what you could, games wise, or violence, or sexual content on YouTube to minors. Because the age
Yeah,
limit,
you could use to.
go ahead, man.
Oh, I was just gonna say because like I don't know if you've ever seen it, but Old Greg, it was an actual. It was like a swamp thing,
Hmm.
and it was talking about I'm Old Greg. I've
Oh,
got
yeah, yeah, I
no.
remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and now it's like completely gone. Like there's nowhere to get it on you. It's gone.
So, the reason for that, and finish explaining it. So, YouTube began cutting monetization in ads if you swore in your content, and that changed a lot of content producers, or creators, sorry, is the correct word for that. Changed their content, and it didn't make it as appealing to those who originally watched it. And it caused this issue where you had this adpocalypse, and it's been relevant for a while because of the shitty algorithms that they got. And now, okay, I've got it written down here, and I'm going to use the C word here. YouTube equals cunts because they've now changed their policy again to screw over content creators even more, where they now have to specify whether their videos are for kids or not, and if they do it wrong, for example. So this video is obviously not going to get monetized, and it won't be for kids because it contains adult language and other references. So it'll be like more of a 15 plus type idea. Whereas if I was to miscorrectly, produce it for kids, I could get sued at my teeth by the government for like 40 grand per video. And even if I did put it up for not for kids, I'd lose a lot of ad revenue because it's still got swearing in it. So there's not a win situation here. Okay, that you can't escape the idea that no matter what content you produce, unless it's, like there's kids channels and that's what YouTube Kids is for kids, keep that shit separate. If I want to produce content like this, which does involve explicit language, but talks about key issues on the planet that really does affect regular people, rather than kids who do toy reviews or play Fortnite or stuff like that, who live in this bubble, this whole idea of this content is to avoid, corporations like this trying to take money from the people who make content for the real people. Boom. There's your rant right there. Suck on it.
But you know exactly why it is like that, though?
Why?
Because you got fucking 2-year-olds with iPads. I mean, don't get me
Parents,
wrong.
man. Blame their
Don't get me
parents.
wrong. I was born in very early 2000, like 2001.
I was 2000,
So
baby.
I'm not gonna lie. As soon as I got to, I think it was 8th grade, they introduced laptops for students. I fucking hated it. But
Oh, we
now
were the
you've
opposite.
got kids that are just getting into elementary school and they're learning on fucking laptops. I mean,
Yeah,
don't get me
that's.
wrong. All this technology is fucking amazing. It helps in so many different ways. It's just so much easier to do stuff. But you gotta start thinking: is it really good for a 2-year-old to have a fucking iPad and know how to use the internet? I mean, it's not real smart.
I
The
think
population is always advancing. I mean, I grew
yeah.
up on like a typewriter and with some plastic blocks. That's
Fucking
I
typewriter.
tell
How old
you,
are you? What,
I
like
fucking
75?
I love Legos. What happened to a 2-year-old playing with fucking?
No, they still
that's
have
right.
Lego. They still have it. And
Yeah,
I
but
grew up
how
playing.
many
We grew up
kids do
playing
you
Game
see
Boys and
actually
shit like
using?
that. We didn't have access to the internet until like properly came out. Social media came out. It's all these toxic platforms that are now being created, and
I didn't get my first game system until I was 11, and I bought it.
11.
Well, yeah, I didn't
Damn.
buy it myself. My second game system, I bought myself. My
I had
first
my
game system was a
first
fucking.
Nintendo when I was like 6, and it was like Duck Hunt and Mario, baby. Oh
That was
yeah,
my first
Yeah.
game system too.
I
yeah.
had a
Nintendo 64.
PS2 and a Nintendo 64 and a Game Boy. I'm not rich, by the way. I'm just saying I got this shit donated to me by like neighbors and stuff. But PS2, I was playing GTA at 4 years old. Okay, that's not bad parenting because my parents didn't understand at the time, and the gaming industry had just taken off. Okay, and the content in that game compared to now is nothing. Like, maybe language and a bit of sexual content in there, but you could put the graphics now and it can scar a child for life. You know, and it's up to the parents to decide, whether they buy their son an 18 game for their 13th birthday, or you can let them play Minecraft or whatever. That's fair enough, but
I
still,
think
there's a good
YouTube's
issue.
just after the idea though that like they're so big now, and it's everywhere you go, and it's just there's so many
They're
people
throwing
that
their weight around.
thrive off of so many people making a living off of YouTube and stuff and getting away with anything that they're just trying to filter it in a way.
I'm
'Cause
glad one of us out of the 3 read that email though.
Yeah, yeah, that was toxic. I also watched PewDiePie's video on it, who did a very good explanation on like how YouTube is really beginning to grip the community by the collar and start throwing it around because they run the show now. Like, it never used to be like that. The creators used to have a lot more say, but now it's like, damn, these YouTube's really ain't fucking around. But yeah, we've covered more topics than I was expecting. We've kind of covered into different circles, different spheres, but we're on our longest one yet. So TC, I'm gonna let you do the outro here, man. You did a shit hot intro, so I'm expecting the same on the way out.
well, we definitely have to get more content going. This has been fun. Lots more issues to talk about. There's always crazy shit going on in the world, and it's also good to hear everyone's perspective from other sides of the world, hence across the pond. So from T.
Whoa.
Oh, you cut out there. Oh shit. Oh no.
Oh
Oh
fuck.
no, it's all going to shit. Oh no. Call the emergency services. We've lost a Canadian. That's probably not legal. Ah, fuck.
Is he still alive?
Is he dead? You think he died?
I think so.
I think he got too epic for
I
his.
think Discord fucked him up. Alrighty, kids, just so you know, Discord is fucked.
All right. Well, I'll improvise. Okay. So, well, as he was exiting, thank you, world, for watching another episode of Across the Pond. Make sure you check our channels out in the description. Subscribe. Make sure you like and turn on the notification bell so you are notified when we are uploading episodes. Sorry about our lack of content over this week. We have had a clash of you know what we're supposed to be doing throughout schedules. That's the word I was looking for. So
What
yeah,
a terrible time for my internet to
oh,
cut
there he
out.
is. I've just done your outro for you, man. So yeah,
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
we're still waiting on you to do that
yeah.
outro, bud. We're just
Mine's
sitting
was
here
not as
talking
good as
so
yours.
well.
Do
You
you
did
wanna
a
start over
fine
again?
job. I'll be back. I'll be back.
All right, we'll call it there, guys. Right, thank you for watching. We'll see you later.
Toodles, guys.